Hi, I'm Vedri. Welcome to another episode of Norwegian Newcomers podcast, where we are talking or hearing fragments from the lives of Norway's immigrant population. Today, I'm really glad my guest is Iivi.
Thank you.
Iivi, at first I want to thank you because you kind of break the ice. You were the first guest who... yeah,
I am the
first. Yeah, who contacted us on our homepage.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that and your wish to come and to share your story and your experience with us. But for the beginning, to give our listeners some intro, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course, I love talking myself. I'm not
nice.
Typical Finnish, because Finnish people doesn't like to talk about themselves,
Really?
but I love it.
Oh,
I guess I'm a bit...
untypical.
Yeah, untypical. Yeah, I have the funniest name of all, because I have checked some statistics in Finnish first name database, and I am the only one male who has my first name Iivi. It's actually a female name in Finland. So
Really?
I have got some good laughs when I have sent emails or text messages and then meet the person face to face. They're like, "Oh, excuse me."
So I was lucky because I knew. Yeah.
So it's from my great grandfathers. So we are the only two boys that has ever existed in Finland, at least, with the same name, Iivi.
Okay, that's a nice. Yeah. That's unique already.
Yeah, that's unique. Yeah, and yeah, my official name is Juho Iivi, but I use Iivi, and I'm actually thinking to change it to my official name here in Norway, because now I'm in the process to considering taking Norwegian pass, because I just got the citizenship.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Tack. So yeah, I'm Iivi. I am 34, I believe. Age is just a number. Yeah. And I am from Finland, like I said. I have lived now 8 years in Norway.
Before you moved to Norway,
Mm-hmm.
can you... I don't know a lot about Finland, and as we talked in some intro, I made mistake, as many of us, that I put Finland in the Scandinavian countries, but it's not. But I would like to hear...
When you say a person's that Finnish people that we're part of Scandinavia, we get a bit proud, because we always look up Scandinavian countries, because... You have Sweden, and then you have the super rich Norway and semi-rich Denmark and even Iceland, and they have these great Viking stories. And what we have, well, not that much.
What?
But I find it out quite recently that Finland is not part of Scandinavia, and it's geographical reason of the area where Norway, Sweden, Denmark are. That's called Scandinavia. And it goes up to North Finland, Lapland area, but not the major part of Finland. Mm-hmm. And also it's a language thing. Our language is a bit unique contra the rest of the Scandinavian countries.
So there's no any similarity?
Not really, no. We have borrowed quite a lot of words from Swedish language, but we have made it not to sound Swedish at all, and so on. So it's... I like to say that because we live between annoying Swedish and super scary Russians, we didn't want to do anything with them. So we created our own language that has nothing to do with our neighbors. And because we love Estonia, they are like our little brothers. That's why we kind of have the same language, but not really.
Okay.
That's my explanation, not science.
Do you think that Finnish language is more complicated than Norwegian?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I actually thought when I moved to Norway, like, where I have put my head, because I had no idea what people are saying. Even at the grocery store register, I was like, sorry, what did you ask me? Or why did you offended me? But I thought so, because I didn't spoke a word when I came here. But now when I have, I would like to say mastered Norwegian language, of course, it helps that I have read Swedish quite many years in school in Finland, but never used it. So I would like to say that Norwegian language is, don't get me wrong in a negative way, but Finnish language is much richer. We have so many more words and simple words that you can say and the other person understand entire sentence. Instead of Norwegian, they have to use couple more words to express their emotions, for example. Or I'm just stupid and I don't understand the language.
No, but when I'm comparing with the Balkan languages, whatever it is, Croatian, Bosnian, that I also think it's a richer, that it's more poetic, how to say, that you can use really many terms different to...
You can go deeper somehow.
Yeah. So
and you do speak good Norwegian, don't you?
No.
So there's two bloody immigrants here criticizing the language. They can't even speak properly.
But isn't that? But I'm trying to point it out sometimes that.
But I have fact behind here as well, because I have a dear ex-colleague of mine who's also from Finland, but has lived over 15 years here in Norway and speaks it fluently. So you can't tell that she's immigrant. And she says that. And when she said that, that actually started my process to think like, yeah, that's actually true. Because maybe that's why I'm struggling so much to express myself in Norwegian, because you don't have a direct, if I have a word in Finnish, you just don't have a match for it in Norwegian. You have to find different ways. And quite often I have 5 words in Finnish, but only 1 in Norwegian. And I just need to find my way to how to make myself heard.
And to use to express in a sentence exactly what you want to say. But Iivi, still I'm insisting a little bit. I don't know much about Finland, but few things that you think would be important for me.
Yeah, Finnish people are, some overall, not everybody of course, but overall we don't talk too much. And what we talk, we mean. And that's quite often people are thinking like we are just, how do you say, it's stupid, some kind of, that we don't want to express. But it's just in our culture is that you are not supposed to speak if you have nothing to say. So we hate this, the people who just talk because they can't stand the silence around them. and
not saying anything but talking too much.
And also that Finnish people shouldn't promote themselves. I think that's a bit negative, and we should get rid of it, because we are quite good. We are bloody. We won the Russians in a war, so come on, celebrate it more.
I'm finding that similar as in Norway. Even if you have to show a bit more or to be unique, that it's not. You shouldn't. In a way, it's kind of rude.
Yeah, you should. And I think it comes from the church, the Lutheran church. Because they say this kind of values you should follow, and they are really in deep in our societies. And that's why we have so much similarity with Sweden, Norway and Denmark. And that's why we feel the same. And we have almost the same traffic lights. So it has to be some similarities.
But so you think that roots are on in religion or the church and the values?
It starts in the religion. What I believe it starts in the religion, like the kyrka, like the
state church.
Yeah, because that's
official.
It's the same religion in all these countries, and those life rules has been here since Middle Age, kind of. Yeah. So and then the Martin Luther, the German dude, made a revolution, and then we were like, we like this one as well, and there comes the basic values, and that's also so encrypted in Finnish society that like you should respect others, you shouldn't talk if you have nothing to say, and respect the elders.
And be also modest and
modest. Don't brag. Oh my God, I'm not Lutheran at all, which is not funny because I am actually Orthodox. Grown up Orthodox, so but it's the same almost in Finland. It's nothing to do with the Russian church. People might be thinking that I'm Russian. I have a Russian nose as well, but it's only because we are so close to each other.
Have you been in Russia?
Never, and I will never go there because of the human rights situation.
So you don't...
I don't want to support countries where they have big issues with the human rights. And I'm actually afraid, because I can't hide myself. I am who I am. And if they want to kill me or put me in jail because I am who I am, then like, oh my God, why I don't want to go. I would love to visit St. Petersburg because I've heard it's really beautiful. But I need to wait until they learn to be human again. So, and I know that I love Russian food, for example, because it's part of my, how do you say it when it's...
In childhood background.
Background, yeah, kind of. Because my family is from the Karelian area, which is lost to Rusland. Mm-hmm. And there comes the lovely food, and which I miss. I can make some food myself, but it doesn't taste the same because it's not made from Finnish potatoes, for example.
Yeah, now since you mentioned, what would you recommend if I'm in Finland, anywhere, and to try?
Try to find a Finnish restaurant. It's harder than you will believe because I guess the Finnish doesn't want to eat the same food that they eat at home. But and also the good question is, does it actually exist, Finnish kitchen? But I would like to say yes. It's a hybrid kitchen between Sweden and Russia. And we just made it kind of looking the same, and it's the same, but we just say that it's a Finnish meatballs instead of Swedish meatballs.
So there's a
they are the same, but they're a bit larger than the Swedish ones.
What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, if I can choose whatever, is my mom's Karelian roast. It's a beef meat in a casserole. In the oven. It takes hours and hours to make, and the meat is so tender that it almost melts in your mouth. And it has some carrots and some other potatoes, maybe not that often because potato is kind of, it will spread. And also Karelian pie, which is funny that in English it's pie, even though that it's a bread. So it's this. It's funny that it's our traditional food because it has a rice in it. And rice doesn't grow in Finland, but never mind the small details. And if my grandmother makes that's the best because you can taste the love. And it's, you have to Google it. Karelian pie.
Okay, but now I have some main inputs.
And I love spending time with my close one in the kitchen and doing things together. That's a work in process with my Norwegian husband, him to understand it as well. Because that's what we did when I was a kid. We were all in the kitchen, even though that we had a living room, or sometimes it was the same space, but we were there and maybe just making a fuss to mom when she was making food. But then we learned how do you make it, and that's like to be together. With your family and friends, everybody was always welcomed. Almost, well, mom worked a lot, so it wasn't every day, but whenever she had the opportunity. And I don't know if that's in Norway because I have most of my friends here in Norway are either first or second generation immigrants. So I don't know if they have brought their customs from their previous country where they mother or father or ancestors were from, so I'm not sure.
Or it's in...
Or is it a Norwegian? That's a question mark for me, because I think that the Norwegians... It's really good also that Norwegians are supporting only Norwegian food, and they are really, like, did you know that Lidl is... they didn't bankrupt here, but they went away because Norwegians didn't want to buy the German products, which was, I was like, okay, that's ridiculous. But I kind of get it, because you need to support your own country's food market and so on, but they should open a little bit. I'm missing some selection in stores.
I agree. But I found quite good... having those Turkish store that I think at least almost everything from the Balkan I can find there.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm just being a snobbish, lazy boy when I say that I wanted to be in my local Iivi. That's what I'm used to it, because I used to work in a grocery store in Finland quite many years, accidentally. And there, even the small, it was like a Boonpris here in Norway. It's like it's always open, almost. And even there we had more selection than the biggest supermarket I have been in Norway. It's like, it's just crazy.
So, Iivi, how did you end up in Norway?
I always thought myself to move from Finland, maybe a couple of years, maybe permanently, but I never ever in my wildest dreams even thought about Norway because of the stereotypic image we have about Norway and Finland, that it's super expensive and it's super expensive and it's super expensive.
It's enough to
Yeah, that
give
was
up.
like, yeah, I don't want to even try. And then I was like placing myself to Malmö, somewhere in Sweden, maybe Denmark or Central Europe. But Sweden will be the easiest and most obvious selection because most of the Finns immigrate to Sweden. Still, we have always done it and still do it. But then I had this problem that my roommate wanted to move away from the flat we were living, and I couldn't afford the flat alone back in Helsinki. It was quite central in Helsinki. And then I just called my big brother, who happens to own a small flat in the city centrum, and asked if I could move there back, actually, because I lived there earlier. And sadly and luckily, he had just leased it again. So it was 1 year's contract, so he couldn't kick out the person from there that easily. But then he said, hey, why don't you come here? And he was living in Oslo.
Your own brother.
My big brother, who is pretty much my father. So I was like, okay, I come. In 15 minutes, I decided. And then when I have made the decision that I will go to Norway, remember, I don't speak Norwegian back then. I hardly spoke any Swedish, some English, and of course Finnish. So I didn't even thought what kind of job I will do and so on. I just sold everything I had, went for a 1 month trip to California, United Idiots, and spent all I had, and then moved to Norway, almost broke. But I had the support of my big brother. He said that, of course, you don't have to pay any rent, and I know it's more expensive than in Finland, so don't worry about the grocery stores and stuff. But I made it. I found that I am cheap if I want to be. Oh my God. I remember that still when I took some Norwegian money in Finland, I looked at it and laughed at it because it looks like monopoly money contra euros. Well, I don't know. It was funny. And I had like, I think 5,000, and I thought that that's going to last me for at least 2 months.
5,000 NOK.
Yeah. 500 euros around.
Yeah.
I noticed that in 3 weeks I had spent all my money already. And I was like, oh my God, I need to do something. And I started, well, of course, when I moved to Norway, I started to find jobs and so on. But I didn't really have a rush on it because I had my big brother to lay on. Neon. Okay, that sounds dirty.
But support,
yeah. And then I like to say that I'm a smart person, but I also realize that sometimes I'm a bit stupid, blunt.
As we all are.
Yeah, and after
Sometimes.
a couple months in Norway, I realized that nobody wants to hire me because I don't speak any word of the language. And yeah, pretty much that, because any job I was applying for food store and some cleaning jobs and so on, but you needed to communicate in Norwegian, and if you don't know any word, that's quite challenging. And I guess there were other people who could actually speak and so on to get the job, so I needed my brother's help to find a position for myself, and I did. And I have a business degree.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in grocery stores and banks and so on my whole life, and then I found myself cleaning Oslo airport at the night time.
Really?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, when I was thinking about that, I was laughing to myself when I was walking the aisle of domestic flights all by myself, middle of the night. Yeah, I really needed my business degree for this, and I was just laughing at myself because the situation was so absurd. But don't get me wrong, I loved it. That year is the best time of my life. Even though that my big brother decided to move back to Finland with his family and left me all by myself, but I already found some friends. I have a fast job that didn't pay much, but enough. Yeah, and I was just happy. I worked 7 nights and then I have 7 days off. Quite often after the night shift, the last one, I traveled somewhere with the cheapest air flight tickets I could find.
Yeah. So
but that was so much nice. And then the bloody headhunter called me and got me back to the corporate world. Then I was earning serious money and I had serious problems as well. When you get serious money, you get serious problems. It's my
Yeah, but 1 year of working at the airport.
Yes.
In
in Oslo. And then I got a job at Larvik. That's a small
Larvik, yeah.
Larvik. That's a small village. I would like to say. The Norwegian calls it town, but I say village or city. Actually, it's a city of Larvik. That's a joke. And I just because it was something I needed Finnish. They needed somebody who spoke Finnish to sell products to Finnish companies, and I was like, yeah, let's give it a try. And I packed my bags, sold my things again because I thought that I'm gonna rent a super small, ready furniture apartment in Larvik, and I did. And I end up there. I was thinking that it's gonna be a summer job. I'm not just going, and I knew that I'm gonna earn much better than I did in my previous job, so I can actually save up some money and then just resign and go traveling. My plan was to Australia or something, but I never ever got that far.
But tell me, Larvik.
Larvik was actually a cultural shock. Oslo wasn't that much because Norway and Finland are almost the same. We look the same. Language is different, but we all speak English, so it's fine. But Larvik was a cultural shock for me, even though that I had lived in a smaller villages in Finland. But Larvik, Jesus, I didn't know anyone. And they didn't, it looked to me that they don't want to get to know me either, even though I'm a quite decent person. And it's just my experience of the start. And then I also made my mind that I don't want to get that much friends or connections at work. I want to keep it at work, and I want to have my friends outside of work. But in what I didn't realize back then, in the smaller villages, you kind of need to get your friends wherever you can get them.
Yeah.
So I was struggling with that. And also I was torn apart because I was still kind of wanted to live in Oslo because all my friends were here and so on. But yeah, and then...
but for how long you lived in Larvik?
5.5 years.
Oh, that's a quite...
that's a long summer.
Yeah. Then did you when and how you managed to...
the company...
to be happy in Larvik?
Yeah. To get back the same happiness, I've been thinking about how it happened. It was maybe part when I kind of swallowed my pride and started to be friends with my colleagues.
Yeah. So the job friend.
Yeah. And I should maybe start to learn language. I have lived maybe 4 years that time already and almost not spoken a word of Norwegian because I really don't need to. That's also a perk to be a Finnish citizenship. I can be here as long as I want and they don't kick me out because we are part of Nordic. That reminds me of a funny story when I moved here.
Yeah.
Because I of course thought that I am immigrated and I need to go with the same line with other immigration people or people from maybe some Somalia or something, refugees or something. And I was so used to queuing in Finland as well, took my paper or kölappa. I waited half an hour or maybe an hour and I was like, I remember I was complaining to my big brother that dinner is going to be late because this bloody line doesn't move. And then I got to the front desk and there was this immigrated person as well.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm sorry, my friend, but you're in the wrong queue. You can go with the Norwegians over there. I was like, bloody hell. But then he saw my idiotism on my face and he gave, you just go there and I wink her and she takes you next. I was like, thank you. And then that was when you come to Norway, you have to go to the the tax office to register yourself. And I just went there and that was five maybe 2 minutes.
The administration is really
it was super easy. And
so 5.5 years, you were happy there?
I was happy and not happy. What made me happy is that I had enough money to exit whenever I wanted, pretty much. And also the work, I was one of the first Finnish they hired. So they already knew me, I knew them. So I had a lot of freedom that not everyone else had. So I could actually just talk to my boss and work wherever I wanted. So I had quite many trips back then. But I think that time I was kind of hiding, by traveling all the time and keeping myself busy, the fact that I wasn't happy in Larvik. Yeah, and it's mainly because I felt so alone there. I had friends, don't get me wrong. I'm a social person. I'm able to find friends even in Mars, like one of my friends told me.
That's nice.
She said that if you want to know if there's a life on Mars, send Iivi there. And then 1 week later, we get a tweet that I found friend, which is quite true because I'm likable, and I like everybody. So it's easy to make friends, you know.
And that's nice.
Yeah, but in Larvik I didn't find any
So
any
wasn't-
serious friends, you know, boyfriends or any kind of love affair. It's like you always met the wall, and that's why I think I was not happy there because even though that I'm unsure if I wanted to be in a relationship, but I didn't have the option. I always want to have an option, and then I that process took me almost 2-3 years to get actually a job in Oslo. That's a long process because of the language. I have good papers, but the language. I get it. If I would be hiring somebody in Finland who can barely speak and needs to be involved with the customers or partners or whatever in Finnish, you need to know the language. So it took me a while, and I also because I didn't want to go back to cleaning job, even though I was happy there. But my life standards were so high that I couldn't finance the minute. So it took a while, and then they gave me an opportunity of lifetime at the work because they needed a new manager for the Finnish portfolio in Finland, and I was like, oh my god, this is what I almost do already, and then I applied for it without knowing that you need to be based on the Finnish office. And I was together with this Norwegian annoying dude. And I remember that I took the train to Larvik and explained to him, I got the job. And then we were like, yeah. I was like, wait, there's a small thing. I need to be placed in Finland. And that was a dramatic moment. But I was employed by a Norwegian company in Helsinki, Finland, which is really nice because then you get Norwegian salary and you have Finnish prices, which are a bit cheaper.
What was your reaction when you
when
realized that
yeah.
you're going home?
Yeah, my reaction was like, oh shit, I don't want to go back. And because I already started to like and love Norway because it is different, but it's really similar. But here things are a little bit better. Are family values. Well, holidays and free times is the same, but and people are slightly more positive here in Norway than in Finland. They are. People smile a bit more often. They're more hyggelig is a really nice word for it. It's just cozy hyggelig. So it's a softness kind of in humans. Because I remember back in Finland, if I needed to go to dentist, I needed to take a day off. I was not allowed to go to dentist during the office hours. That was
that's quite strict.
Yeah, it's a bit more stricter in that way. And here I was like, of course you go to dentist. Be away half day, no matter. I was like, what? What kind of a utopia are we living? And yeah, and then when he told me that, yeah, you get a huge bonus with this new position, but we need to ship you to Finland. Okay, bye. I was kind of also expecting like, okay, it's been like 4 years. So I kind of expected that Finland has changed in a positive way.
Yeah.
And also some in my weirdest imaginations that all my friends hasn't moved on and they're still waiting for me and we are already going back to what the life was before I moved. And of course not. People change and the country change and if I do still recognize Finland as it is today, but it's not exactly the same it was because of everybody else close to me has changed and moved on. So I was quite devastated, depressed in Finland because all the negativity hit me once I got there, and also I had so demanding job, and that was depressing for me as well, and stressful. And so it took me almost a year to realize that I just need to quit this shit. I talked with my big brother, and he told me that don't quit your job because it's Norwegian. Ask them to transfer you back to Norway. And then when you are based on Norway, it's much easier for you to find a job in Oslo area, which I did, and it took me 3 months.
To find another
job in Oslo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To came back to
Yeah, I came
be
back to
transferred.
and I kind of lived in Oslo and worked in Larvik, and I had this hybel studio apartment in Larvik, and then I was really focusing to find a job in Oslo, and it happened in a couple of months, 3 months maybe.
And then you were happy again.
Then I was super happy, and then when we had the conversation with my boyfriend that when I get to Oslo, we are going to live together first time in same address, and we've been together over a couple of years then. So it was a big moment as well. And then we just saw that the neighboring building is selling a flat, and that it's perfect for us. I had literally lived 2 months with this person. We bought a flat together. Yeah, so far so good. We're still living together.
I wouldn't say there's no guarantee. It could happen and fall in love or anything, job opportunity or this and that. It can just come be on the corner and with no any preparation. So I don't think it's strange.
Yeah, and also that you can always go back. I think it's more important to always go forward, or at least think to go forward. And if you find out that this is just bullshit, can I swear actually?
No, that's okay. We are all doing that. I read somewhere that it's good for our health. That swearing is kind of.
Good. So you should always aim at some level to go forward. I don't mean like you should push yourself to 110% and always pushing boundaries, but kind of we are human beings, and I think we are meant to go forward, whatever is the method you're using. And hello, we are humans as well. If you make mistakes, if I find out that the person I bought flat with together, I don't want to actually live with him, then we sell the flat. It's especially here in Oslo, we most likely earn money of it. So it's crazy. I like it. And also that the Norwegian, I think that Norway is more welfare society than Finland is. And that's based on my personal experience. I'm always been really good to find out what kind of money I can get from the government. Not using the system wrong, but just find it out what's my options.
It belongs, that it's part of your rights.
And the first year I lived in Oslo, I paid quite low rent, but I still got some money from government because they thought that I'm so poor. I need some support. I was like, okay, thank you. So that was something I never received in Finland because I was always earning too much, they say. I say no, but they say yeah. So, but we have the same system, so maybe that's why I knew what I can actually find out. And I have talked with all my other friends that doesn't have that kind of system in their home country, and they're like, "What? If you can't afford your rent and you're low paid, you can actually get money from the government to help you out?" So I was like, "Yes, that's like normal for me, but I am offspring of a welfare society as well." When I moved to Norway and I was without a job, I actually considering to apply for unemployment money, but then I thought, stupid of me, I should have done it because it's so easy to get it. But then I thought, oh my god, it's going to be so much paperwork, and I have some money left, and I have my big brother, so I survive. It was so stupid of me not to do it because I was entitled for it, because those are not citizenship based, those are residence based. Same as in Finland.
It must be something here that you don't like. Precisely.
I love Norway. Norway is the best country ever. Of course.
Now commercial break.
Sponsored by Norwegian government. No, I'm in Norwegian scale. I'm a workaholic. Finnish scale, I'm normal. So what I didn't like is that every Friday, if I had some problems that I didn't know the answer, I need some specialists to answer to my questions, and quite often I needed to answer right away. And every bloody Friday, I had the problem that everybody was gone around 2, 3. Certainly, if I was at the office at the 4, I was certainly the last one. The cleaners came like, what the fuck are you still doing here? It's Friday, it's 4.
Oh, you're not Norwegian.
Yeah. So that's also plus, but also minus, I would like to say. That, now I'm so used to it that I do it myself. I just need to leave work a bit earlier on Fridays because I need to get to house at the countryside. But back then when the work was my life, it was really annoying. And I can find that annoying to the Finnish companies who's trying to communicate the Norwegian companies that Even though it's Friday, it's still office hours.
Yeah, that's the. But do you think that it's less stress? I would
Yeah,
say that
less stress.
those icky stress that I learned immediately.
Norway is one of these Hakuna Matata countries, and that's I don't if it's Afrikaans or what is the language name that means take it easy. Everybody knows it from Disney movies. It's.
Are you getting used?
I am so used to it that I think I would have problems to work in Finland or Germany. So it's I'm so like relaxed and but you turn out to be how you are in the country where you live. 2020 January, Norwegian government finally made the decisions that you can keep your old passport or
dual
citizenship.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I know I can apply because I'm. So you need to be 7 years to just get it. And I still thought that they will ask me questions or test me, but no.
You are you officially then? You have.
I'm a Norwegian without
citizen.
well, I can speak quite good Norwegian, but I would like to say that I am a Norwegian who cannot even speak Norwegian. That would be.
You can.
I can. I do my bank business and work in Norwegian because I want it.
You wanted to apply for citizenship.
Yeah, I wanted to because I think that maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned in some manner. Because I feel like if whatever is the country I want to go, and if I made the decision I want to spend the rest of my life there, I just think it belongs to the package to have the passport of the country, of your residence. Of course, it's not needed. I never ever need to have a Norwegian pass or citizenship, but I just feel like it's something that I want to have. I'm proud of it. And I'm still proud of my Finnish passport. I'm never going to give away it. I'm always going to vote for the Finnish elections because voting is... And also, I was so surprised now. I just woke up lately. I'm watching Norwegian news every day, but I just realized that the bloody prime minister and the other ministers, and there's so many of them. That was also surprising for me. Like Finland, we have like 6 ministers, but here is like maybe 10 or something. I don't know.
On the Balkan, it's 30.
Okay. I thought that the Finnish was like the standard, but whatever. So and they're present all the time. They are in talk shows. They're they're like opening some ski centers, and they're everywhere. And then you also have the bloody royal family who is doing the same things. I was like, oh my God, this government is everywhere. They are like, they're almost sitting in your living room taking coffee with you. And it doesn't
One
look
day,
like...
maybe.
Maybe. And it doesn't even look like they're in a rush. Because if the Finnish prime minister comes to say something to the public, it's like, okay, now I go. It's like 2 minutes.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Except her, she's really good. And the new one, we have... Did you know that we have a youngest prime minister, and she's also a woman? And we almost got a gay president. Almost. Like 12 years ago, he was the second runner.
Okay, he lost.
Yeah.
But I read a lot about, because Finnish prime minister, she was in a part of those women that really kind of in this hard time doing well for their countries running. And
so as we can see in a history as well, if you have a female leader, the country is better. It doesn't go to wars that often. And people are just happier. So make women the presidents and...
it should be like that.
And also one thing that the Norwegians are doing better is to take care of the Sami people. They have done some mistakes back in the time as Finland as well. But here they are a bit more knowledged than in Finland they are. And that goes to all the minor groups of people in Norway. So Norway is a bit more human in what I'm trying to say than Finland is.
Have you ever experienced any kind of discrimination?
I'm trying to think it really personal because otherwise I won't remember it. I have experienced twice hatred in Norway. Twice.
Okay.
In these 8 years. That's nothing.
Is it verbally or?
Verbally, and I luckily never been physically abused, but I have seen it happen in Finland. It happened to my close friend because of who he is, and then the people thinks that it's their right to beat out of the gayness of the person, which is not the case at all. So and also the boys, I remember that incident in Helsinki because he called me and he was just downstairs of my door and he called me like come. I was like what, and he was black eye, a little bit bleeding, not anything super severe. That was lucky. And then I called the police and the bar owner behind us said that the cops are already there. And the guys were so stupid that they were shouting, yeah, we just beat up that gay guy. He should be taken out behind the sauna and put a bullet in his head. And the cops were there. The Finnish cops don't take those things easily. All of them were arrested immediately. And a couple of months later, I was a witness in a court and they got not jail time, fined.
But here
I have experienced it twice, and the first time was when I didn't really speak Norwegian. That was my early years. I hooked up in a bar, and we were sitting behind in taxi and kissing. And then when the taxi driver saw that we were kissing, he started shouting in Norwegian that we need to get the fuck out of his car. He's not taking us anywhere because we have faggots and so on. And I remember I was so like, why is running? Why is he so pissed? We were just kissing. Was I that bad? And am I so bad kisser that the taxi driver got upset as well? And then I realized when my partner said to me in English that he wants us out because we are gays. And I was shocked. Because I would ever thought that it would happen in anywhere in the world, but at least in Oslo. Bloody hell, the capital of the most free and tolerant people almost in the world, and that happened to me. And I was so shocked that I didn't realize to take a picture of his bloody license. But it was hate crime.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And that's here. It's
and definitely he would have to go some anger management or maybe some lessons that how to not to say anything when a different person comes to your car and it's like a public but that was the second time. Well, I can't even say that it was actually a thing, but that happened in Larvik, and I was really hidden in Larvik because I thought it's a redneck and really, because it's countryside a bit further from the capital city, and I really thought and assumed that people are really hatred towards gays and so on, but that's quite opposite. And I learned it after a couple of years, so that's why maybe. And this the second time it was, I don't know if it wasn't even hate crime, but I just need to say, because this is the how I express it to the world, that how good country Norway is that I was in a bar, in a straight bar, because Larvik doesn't have any gay bars. It's a village. And I was the only gay in the village. If anybody has seen this funny sitcom from Britain where is this super uber gay guy who's saying that all the time, I'm the only gay in the village, in the bar drinking Bacardi and Coke, I was that one. and then I was a bit tipsy, and my self-control kind of got broken. I verbally get closer to another male and say to him that I find you attractive. I didn't even touch him because that's not how I proceed on these love matters. He got a bit upset, which kind of understand if somebody comes to try to hit on you and you are weak on your masculinity and don't take it as thank you. But and then he just, I don't remember exactly, but I think he said to me, fuck off, faggot, or something. Mightily
rude
and then his friend happened to hear him and he made him apologize me, like truly meaning it, and said, now you apologize, we don't say those things. I was like, okay, wow.
But that's a good example. It wasn't pleasant at all.
No, but I'm laughing about it. Not the taxi thing. That I will never laugh. But this one I'm laughing because he didn't. I assume by his friend reaction he didn't mean what he said. Norwegians guys, they are quite okay with their sexuality. They don't need to be insecure on it because that has happened. Of course, it has happened, and most likely it will happen in the future as well. That you start to flirt with a person who is not interested in the same sex. And then usually they just take it as thank you.
As a compliment. It is being attractive.
I don't know if there has happened something else, because quite a while I went in my own bubble in this country, not really understanding the language. And quite recently, I come to the stage that I can't block Norwegian anymore out. But I was in a happy place that if people are talking Norwegian around me, I can just completely stop listening, and then I don't get the information. But sadly, I have learned too much Norwegian, and now it just comes in like English and Finnish. Bloody annoying.
Now you can't avoid, yeah. Is there anything that I didn't ask, or
There's a lot of things, of course. I just want to say that if anybody is listening to this and struggling in life in Oslo or wherever in Norway, remember that this country has the support. You just need to find it. And if you can't find it, ask your neighbor. They are, even though that they don't talk to you, but they are in the end, they're really lovely people. Norwegians are the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree, and really thank you again that you wanted to be our guest.
Yes.
And I'm really glad having you, and new things I learn. Yeah. I'm learning from you guys.
Good. Even though that I'm from a quite privileged background, I think. Not money-wise, but born and raised in Finland. So if there are anyone who has a bit more challenging path to be in Norway, please contact her. She's a lovely person, and this is a lovely opportunity, and I would like to hear your story.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much. I want to hear all of them.
Good.
But thank you for being my guests, and tusen tack. Thank you.
Tusen tack. God helg.
God helg.
God morgon.
On Tuesday.